It is minus 50 degrees Celsius. You have no house, no coat, no grocery store, no fire, and you have to eat, tonight. Now imagine doing that, not once, but every single day for your entire life, and your children's lives, and their children's lives, for thousands of years. That was the Ice Age, and somehow, your ancestors made it. Here's what most people get wrong about the Ice Age. They picture one long winter, like someone just cranked the thermostat down and everything froze. The reality was far stranger than that. The last major glacial period, what scientists call the last glacial maximum, peaked around 20,000 years ago. Ice sheets 2 miles thick covered 30% of the Earth's entire land surface. Sea levels were 120 meters lower than they are today. You could walk from Asia to Alaska on dry land. The landscape was unrecognizable. And everywhere, there were animals that would make a grizzly bear look like a house pet. Woolly mammoths, cave lions, short-faced bears the size of small cars. Now here's the thing that should genuinely disturb you. Almost every large animal from the Ice Age eventually went extinct. The mammoths, the woolly rhinos, the cave lions, all of them. Every megafauna went extinct, except one. The question isn't just how ancient humans stayed warm. It's why they didn't disappear with everyone else. And the answer turns out to be a lot less ancient than it first appears. Let's start with the most obvious problem: cold. When people imagine Ice Age humans, they picture people huddled in caves. And sure, caves were used. They offered natural insulation, blocked wind, and were defensible. But here's what blows my mind. Not everyone lived near a cave. Vast stretches of Ice Age Europe and Asia had almost none. So what did people do? They built. Archaeologists have found the remains of structures made entirely from mammoth bones and tusks, the largest bones available, arranged in circles and covered with animal hide. Some of these structures were 15 feet across. Engineers, in the Stone Age, building houses from scratch in some of the harshest conditions on Earth. And then there's fire. Evidence of controlled fire goes back at least 1 million years. Fire wasn't just about warmth, it was everything. It kept predators away at night. It cooked food, which made calories easier to absorb. It was the original social media. People gathered around it, shared stories, passed knowledge down. These weren't people hiding from the Ice Age. They were setting up camp inside it. That pull toward warmth, toward light, toward other people when things feel uncertain. It didn't go anywhere. The fire just changed shape. But warmth alone doesn't explain survival. Here's where it gets interesting. Around 26,000 years ago, humans developed something tiny that changed everything. The eyed sewing needle. Made from bone, smaller than your pinky finger. That needle meant clothing could be fitted and layered, sealed at the wrists, the ankles, the throat. Not a fur draped over your shoulders. A system engineered to keep you alive in minus 50 degrees. Now here's the part that stops researchers cold. Neanderthals were here too. Larger brains than us, stronger, better physically suited for the cold. And yet they vanished. The leading theory? They didn't have the needle. They didn't innovate fast enough. One tiny bone needle. The difference between extinction and every human alive today. Okay, so they had shelter, they had clothing, but you still have to eat. And in the Ice Age, eating was its own kind of terrifying. Plant life was sparse and seasonal, so the main source of calories was meat, and not small meat. We're talking mammoth. One mammoth could weigh 14,000 pounds and feed a group of 25 people for weeks. But how do you kill something that size with a sharpened stick? You don't outmuscle it. You outthink it. They drove herds toward cliff edges, dug pit traps in known migration paths, surrounded prey in coordinated ambushes that required trust, communication, and strategy. And when the hunt was over, nothing was wasted. Bones, fat, sinew, hide, all of it repurposed. A mammoth wasn't just dinner, it was a village's worth of resources in one animal. Here's the part nobody talks about. And it might be the most important part. Shelter, clothing, hunting, all of those required one thing that doesn't get excavated from archaeological sites easily: other people. Humans during the Ice Age lived in groups of roughly 20 to 50 individuals. And these weren't just random collections of people. They were tight networks: shared childcare, shared food, shared knowledge passed down through generations. Grandmothers who remembered where the herds moved 3 winters ago. These people weren't isolated. They had social networks that spanned continents. Think about what that means. Every rugged lone wolf survival fantasy we have, the solo survivalist who needs no one, that person died in the Ice Age. Fast. The ones who made it, the ones whose DNA is in your cells right now, were the ones who stayed close, who talked to each other, who took care of each other. Community wasn't a nice to have. Community was the technology that kept us alive. So, back to that person standing in -50-degree cold. No house, no coat, no fire. What did they actually have? Someone who knew how to build a shelter from mammoth bones. Someone who could sew a coat that wouldn't let the wind through. Someone who remembered where the herd would be in spring. Someone to hold watch at night so the others could sleep. The Ice Age lasted roughly 2.5 million years. In that time, we didn't just survive. We built shelters, developed tools, painted walls, made music, created trade routes, and told stories around fires. We didn't outlast the Ice Age by being the biggest or the strongest. We outlasted it because we were the most cooperative, the most curious, and the most creative species on the planet. Those traits didn't retire when the glaciers melted. The cooperation, the creativity, the refusal to accept the problem as permanent. They weren't incidental to survival. They were survival. And that hasn't changed as much as we think. The ice didn't break us. It made us. If you enjoyed this, share it, leave a like, and subscribe for more. See you in the next one.